So what can you send your soldiers while they're at basic training? So today I'm going to ask one of the most common questions I probably actually get asked on live streams all the time. Every single live stream, multiple times a live stream, without fail I get asked this question, which is what can you send soldiers when they're at basic training? And the answer is really not all that much. You're not going to be able to send them a whole bunch of stuff at basic training. But in this video, I want to tell you guys some of the things that you can send them at basic training and then some of the things that you should not send them whenever they're at basic training. Now, I'm sure all of you guys already know this, but you can send your soldiers when they're at basic training letters. That's basically the main way that you're going to communicate while they're there. You can also send them pictures in those letters whenever you're sending them those letters at basic training. The only thing here is, at least for my drill sergeants and from what I've heard, you don't want to send a lot of pictures. Like, you really shouldn't send just like a whole big thick stack of pictures. Like, just send a couple. You know, I would say no more than 10 for sure. No more than 10 pictures for sure, but probably just, you know, 3, 4, 5 pictures. That'll do it. Anything more than that, in my opinion, is excessive. Maybe 10 is on the higher side. But feel free to throw in some pictures or any drawings from the kids or nieces or whatever in those letters. That's obviously going to be okay whenever you send that to basic training. Now, some of the other things that you are going to be available to send them, I recommend sending your soldiers watches if they do not have watches. I talk about that on my channel several times now. It's one of those things that I said not to forget. But maybe your soldier is already at basic training and you know that they don't have a watch. I would go ahead and just get them a $10 watch and just ship it to them and mail it to them, and they're really going to appreciate that. Having a watch is a really key component whenever it comes to Army basic training because everything's going to be on a time hack. I know I've been told maybe in like the Marines you might not be able to wear a watch or something. I don't know that for sure. I'm in the Army, so that's what I know. Also in the past, some people have said, you know, 20 years ago you couldn't have a watch. Well, we're talking about today, you can have a watch. So if you have a soldier at basic training and you know that they don't have a watch, I would highly recommend that you guys send them a watch. Another thing that I think you guys should send them is Moleskin. This could be an iffy thing whether or not they're allowed to have it. But Moleskin is something that you can put on your heels, on your feet, whenever you're doing ruck marches in your boots, and so it prevents blisters. Or if you have a blister, you can put Moleskin over it and it'll help it keep it from getting worse, and it will help it be able to heal. Because if you get a blister at basic training, it might take a while for it to get better because you're still going to be walking every day with boots on. And so if you have a blister and you're still continually walking, you know, miles and miles with boots on, it might get worse. You might get new blisters. So Moleskin is something really important. So if you have the chance to buy it at the PX, if you guys are going to basic training, buy some Moleskin at the PX if you can. And then if you are at basic training, maybe you run out of Moleskin, or if you're a family member and you just want to send them some Moleskin just in case, you can go to CVS or Walmart or really anywhere just to pick up some, and it's just called Moleskin. That would be really nice for them, and I'm sure that they would really appreciate it. Now, some of the other things that you can send them, obviously, you can send them some stamps. So if they don't have any stamps, send them some stamps. You can send them, obviously, letters, pens, paper, stuff like that. Really, just the basics of things that they can get at the PX. So you can get them, or you can send them deodorant. You can send them shaving cream if they run out of shaving cream, and maybe you don't get the chance to go to the PX at basic training, so you've ran out of shaving cream and you're having to dry shave or use your battle buddies, you know, stuff. So, you know, make sure whenever you're writing your letter to your soldier, or whenever you're writing your letter to your family, you let them know, hey, we're not going to get to go to the PX for a couple of weeks. I'm out of shaving cream. Can you send me some shaving cream? And then hopefully that they will send you some. So basic things like that. So the things that the soldier is allowed to get at the PX whenever they get to go to the PX, which you're probably going to get 3 chances-ish to go to the PX whenever you're at basic training to resupply on deodorant, to resupply on shaving cream and get razors or whatever. But things like that, you are going to be able to send them at basic training. Things you're not going to be able to send them at basic training is things like magazines or books. The only book you can read is your religious book or the Bible. You will have the chance to get those whenever you're at basic training as well. You can just go to it. Your church service on Sunday, you can pick up a Bible there. You're not going to be able to send them food. However, I have heard apparently just the other day one story of somebody who was at basic training and they got to have food, or at least whenever family sent them food, they had to just share that with the whole basic training, you know, platoon. I have never heard that before, so I would strongly just consider that that's probably not going to happen, because I've heard, you know, especially through this platform and stuff, tons of stories way more than just the one story that I heard of where you can get food. But for the most part, you cannot send any food, candy, anything edible to your soldiers at basic training. That will be confiscated by the drill sergeants, and in my case, the drill sergeants will eat it, because I remember my parents sent me some candy. They sent me like 2 things, but one of them was a big bag of Skittles, and the drill sergeant was just snacking on that for the rest of, basically the cycle, because you are not allowed to have candy except for the crazy off the wall one case that I've ever heard of, that they were actually allowed to have food, or at least pass it out among their platoon. One other thing that you're not going to be able to send your soldier is any kind of medications. This is something that just goes with, basic training. You're not allowed to have any kind of medications, whether it's prescription or non-prescription medications on you. If you do bring like naproxen or ibuprofen or something like that, you're going to have to give that to the drill sergeants, and anytime you want your prescription medicine or just your ibuprofen, you're going to have to actually go to the drill sergeant and ask. Right, so if you do bring naproxen or ibuprofen or just some kind of little mild painkiller or something, you're going to have to ask your drill sergeant every single time you want to use that. So if you have a prescription medicine, you're going to have to ask your drill sergeant every single time you use that. Now, as far as prescription medicines goes, maybe, I don't know, maybe a scenario where you will have to send them their prescription medicine. That will obviously be okay, and it'll stay with the drill sergeants. But anything else, cough drops, or just like coughing, medication stuff, naproxen, ibuprofen, little small painkillers, anything like that is not going to be okay to send to your soldiers while at basic training. It's going to be either thrown away by the drill sergeants, or they're going to just keep it, and then your soldier is going to be, basically scared to ask them for naproxen or ibuprofen or whatever it is that you guys send them every single day, because that gets old by the drill sergeants. Even the soldiers that have prescription medicines that they have to take every single day, whenever they go and talk to the drill sergeant, at least in my case, in my company, in my experience, the drill sergeants were just always like, oh my gosh, we got to keep doing this again. So if their drill sergeants have a similar attitude to that, I guarantee you they're not going to want to go and ask their drill sergeant for some ibuprofen. The drill sergeant's probably going to tell them to suck it up just like everybody else. So I know I obviously didn't cover every single specific thing that you can send and what you cannot send your soldier at basic training, but you can always feel free to, in your first letter and your second letter, sending it home, or you sending it to your soldier, ask them, hey, do you need anything? Do you want anything? Are you allowed to have this? Are you allowed to have this? If you're, sending a letter back home, just ask, hey, send me some of this, send me some of this. I need some more razors. My razor is dull because I've been using it all the time, and I've never used a razor this much. So send those things in the letters, and all of those questions will be answered in their specific situation, because certain things may vary, like I said, like moleskin, that might and might not be allowed depending on who the drill sergeants are. They may be like, no, you have to go to sick call to be, able to have that moleskin, or you may have to have an actual blister already to be able to use moleskin. So certain things like that might vary, but for the most part, make sure you ask your soldier and you will be good to go. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that like button. That would be awesome. If you want to stick around with some more videos, hit that subscribe button. That would be even better. If you are not already following me on social media, links right here. I have my Twitter also in the description. I just don't have an icon for it, but Twitter is also in the description. I've been using that since that little best military YouTuber competition. So follow me on there if you guys want to. I hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you guys later.